We have a question from the audience on the promotion note from Mateo Rodriguez. What's your advice for comics to be better promoters?
I think my advice to comics is just don't, look, there is a kind of like this weird underlining belly sometimes that like, it's almost like you're looked down upon sometimes if you promote too hard, because then you look like someone who's trying to do a bringer or something. But the reality is like, you have to sell tickets. If you're going to hit the road and really want to become a professional comic, I mean, at the end of the day, everyone is, look, I don't like bringer shows. We don't really do any bringer shows at New York. I'm not a huge fan of it, but there is a necessity. It's necessary. It's a necessary evil in some weird way. But at the end of the day, every comic's kind of a bringer. Bill Burr's a bringer comic, if you think about it. He's got to get 20,000 people at the Garden, right? Yeah. So my opinion, my advice to a comic on how to become a better promoter is to be shameless. To be as shameless as you possibly can. This is your business. You're an entrepreneur. Get everyone and everyone. Knock on everyone's door. Be annoying as fuck. Who cares? So whether it's barking outside of a room that you're trying to fill, whether it's an email list, but let me just give you a little more polished answer, Mateo. Get everyone you meet at a comedy show, get their name and number, get their email. Build an email list. Build a following. Build a clientele. I don't know if you guys know who Matt Richards is. Matt Richards is a really funny comic that we work with. He's the host of HQ Trivia. When we took over the comedy club, I was still selling tickets in Times Square. I think I was the only owner in the history of comedy that was actually barking. And Matt was a young comic who was looking for a shot. He just wanted, and he was like, look, I can sell tickets. I can do whatever. And I was like, cool, man, come out with me and sell tickets. Now, it wasn't like, hey, sell tickets and you'll get stage time. I first was like, go on stage. Let me see how you are, because I want to see if you're funny. Murdered it. I loved him immediately. And I was like, cool, man, let's go have some fun and sell tickets. And every time he sold a ticket, he would be like, hey, man, I'm going to be on the show tonight. Give me your name, give me your email, put you on my email list. And at the end of like a year and a half, he had like 1,000 emails. And he built like this weird little following just from engaging with the people. So the best way to become a promoter, the best way to sell tickets is to engage your audience, to have an interaction with them. Even the biggest comics, dude. Like, we work a lot with Chris DiStefano. I mean, we just did a show with Chris at the theater in Atlantic City, and he was like, hey, dude, he's like, are we totally sold out? Because I have 5 fans that are messaging me on Instagram trying to see if they can get in. I'm like, you're actually responding to them? He's like, dude, I have to. That's my lifeline. Like, these guys are my fans. So that's the mentality I would suggest every comic have. And then you get to a level where you don't need to have that mentality, probably, right? But I still doubt that. Joe Rogan, you don't think Rogan is conversing with his fans on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, or he pays someone to do it. I mean, that's the name of the game. Is people want to be touched. They feel like you're accessible. Comics who wait after the show, it's that connection, right? It is, and you feel it. I totally associate with the guy who Matt Richards, who was like, come out to my show. It's something. I think it's more difficult to sell a show you're not on. I feel the motivated wise, or you don't have some sort of vetted interest.
And think about how much better that makes you as a comic. Now, think about if you are able to promote your shows properly and you have people there that you told to go, you have to be good.
Yeah, you got to step
it up. Shit the bed, because if you do, you look kind of like you look terrible, right? So it's all part of it. It's applying pressure on yourself to perform at a certain level. It's pressure on yourself to get people out, and it's all about, and have an organized approach. So for example, we have that ticketing company, right? Or a ticketing platform. So there's a guy in Connecticut who does all these brewery shows. And at the time he had like 3 brewery shows. And I was like, listen, his name, Ryan's his name. I'm like, Ryan, you should really consider using our platform. And he was like, look, dude, I'm not really, you guys are a comedy club. Like, I'm not really running a comedy. I just do these shows at breweries every now and then. Like, he does a few a week. I'm like, but you're missing. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, Fairfield Comedy Club is in the lobby of a hotel. It's BYOB. But we promote it like a comedy club. We brand it like a comedy club. We run it like a comedy club. And now, guess what? It's a comedy club. So if you approach your brewery shows with that same mentality and use the right email systems and do email blasts and have like consistency to your social media and consistency to your promotion, you'll have a whole infrastructure. And now he works with like 20 vineyards. Now, I'm not saying it's because he's using our platform. I'm suggesting that. No, but I'm saying is that he clearly, you know, I think he took that approach, and now it's you know, it's the same as a comic, you know, at whatever level you are, if you approach it professionally as a profession, even if it's not your real profession, you will sell tickets.
Yeah, no, you know, the emails I collected over the years as a comedian, growing in South Florida, we were able to use as the database, the original database that started our company, Comic Cure. So it built up over the years and created a foundation for us to start a company, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and Richie, think about it too, bud, right? I mean, think about what's going on right now, right? I mean, luckily there's outdoor stuff happening, but think about all these Zoom shows and virtual shows. You know, you were living in LA for a while and you're from Philly, right? But you were in Florida for a little bit. The reality is someone from South Florida going to go to LA to watch your show? No, but they might listen to your podcast, right? They might go to your Zoom show now. Yep. So if you have compiled enough of interest from people from all over the place, we are now living in times where you can get them all to watch you in one place, whether it's a Zoom or a live stream or whatever, you know, Facebook Live, IG Live. So, you know, you don't want to leave any rock unturned. I mean, you know, and this is why we all got into this, right? We all got into this because we love it. And if you love something, you go at it with that kind of enthusiasm and vigor.